In recent years, the phrase being thrown around by countries as well as corporations is carbon neutral. Going carbon neutral by some set date such as 2030 or 2050 is the goal of nations or corporations. The term carbon neutral. Can anyone really define what that means? How can you have a goal of something if you don't even have a clear definition of your goal or how you plan on do it? Our current economic system is based on economy growth. Economists use terms like gross domestic product to measurement of growth in the economy. This is measurement the amount of spending in the economy. Studies have shown a strong correlation between economic growth and fossil fuel demand. If economic growth is bad, do we allow some countries to grow while others cannot? But what does that even mean, carbon neutral? It seems to be this idea that we don't have to change our behaviors. But some technological advances make a carbon neutral possible, is what people are claiming. Here in America, our economy is 70% consumerism. How do you plan to have a consumerism-based economy that is carbon neutral? Amazon is a company that claims to have a goal of being carbon neutral. How can companies whose business model is to have people buying things that don't need and buying the newest gadget and throwing away the old one? The largest producer of carbon emissions is China. Do we hear any of these companies say we should not be manufacturing things in China? China gets most of energy from coal power. Most of consumer goods are made in China. Does anyone dare blame our consumerism culture here in America? Instead, the blame is put on the fossil fuel companies, not American society's consumerism behaviors. Some try to say we are slaves to consumerism. You have a choice to not buy the latest and greatest from Amazon or Walmart or Apple. It's you, the consumer, is where they get their profits. Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world. People believe we can save the world by taxing corporations like Amazon. How do you plan to have a carbon-neutral consumerism economy based on endless growth? Some people believe we can save the planet by, quote, going green with renewables to replace fossil fuels. If you want to have a renewable future, you must first figure out how to electrify our infrastructure. This is because renewables such as solar and wind produce electricity as energy. Currently, electricity is about 25% of energy supply of that 25%. Solar only account for about 3%, wind is about 9%. This means they would combine for about 15% of electricity energy, of which is just a small fraction of total energy. When someone thinks of a solar panel or wind turbine, how long do you think they will last? 50 years? 100 years? The answer is 20 years. Roughly every generation of our so-called renewables will need to be rebuilt using fossil fuels, meaning that the world's finite resources will be needed. The manufacturing of wind turbines and solar panels require fossil fuels. In the manufacturing, this means they are rebuildable, not renewable. Next problem is storage of renewables. This requires batteries. Batteries are currently largely lithium, which requires mining, which requires fossil fuels. In recent years, electric cars have become popular. But these cars may run on electricity but are dependent on fossil fuels for manufacturing. It's one thing to electric cars, it's another to have electric vehicles used to transport goods. The larger the battery, the more weight the batteries required. Another problem for batteries is grid-size batteries. This means a battery large enough to power a small city. Grid-size batteries have yet to be invented, nor does it look like they will be available anytime soon. This, the one main benefit of fossils fuel energy, and the flaw of renewables is energy density. Fossil fuels are liquid fuels and do not require batteries. The problem of batteries is the weight. Is why there will never be electric planes and cargo ships. In our global economy, this becomes a problem when most of the world's goods are only produced in China. Most of the goods are consumer goods that we don't really need. When people hear the term fossil fuels, our current economy in the United States is a consumer economy. The idea of consumerism started in the early 20th century, when it was at the time believed that we had infinite fossil fuel energy to run this consumer economy. At the same time, credit cards have become mainstream. This in effect was taking energy of future and spending it for today. The idea of energy abundance created the idea of the infinite growth economy. How can you sustain something that is dependent on infinite growth? What are some examples of things dependent on infinite growth in our economy? They are your 401k, your pensions, your mortgage, your student loans, and car loans. These things were all part of the old world of infinite growth. If you truly believe in a sustainable future, you will not be part of things that depend on growth, more specifically infinite growth. It's time we rethink what being sustainable means. It's time to rethink our economy. The ideas of an electric economy and carbon neutral are simply pipe dream. Just green fairy tales. This is false idea that tech can save us. If you enjoyed my video, please like and share, and check out other videos from my channel in the link in the description.